That was the day my world stopped. If all else fails, I would like to start off this video by stating that I'm not a doctor or an expert in the spread of diseases. I'm a licensed environmental engineer who has a passion for protecting the environment after a career that has spanned almost 50 years, and for the Word of God. God gave us His commandments for a reason, and has not nullified or changed them. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever, and places His word above His name. Thou shalt not kill, Exodus 20:13. And not rather, as we be slanderously reported, and as some affirm that we say, let us do evil, that good may come. Whose damnation is just? Romans 3:8. If there is a problem in this world, instead of looking to science, perhaps, and if all else fails, we should be searching our operation and maintenance manual, the Word of God, for an answer. Abortion opponents protest COVID-19 vaccines use of fetal cells. This is from Science Mag. Cells derived from elective abortions have been used since the 1960s to manufacture vaccines, including current vaccines against rubella, chickenpox, hepatitis A, and shingles. They have been used to make approved drugs against diseases, including hemophilia, rheumatoid arthritis, and cystic fibrosis. Now research groups around the world are working to develop more than 130 candidate vaccines against COVID-19, according to the World Health Organization. 10 have entered human trials as of June 2nd. At least 5 of the candidate COVID-19 vaccines use 1 or 2 human fetal cell lines, HEK 293, a kidney cell line widely used in research and industry that comes from a fetus aborted in about 1972, and PERC6, a proprietary cell line owned by Janssen, a subsidiary of Johnson & Johnson, developed from retinal cells from an 18-week-old fetus aborted in 1985. Both cell lines were developed in the lab of molecular biologist Alec van der Ebb at Leiden University. 2 of the 5 vaccines have entered human trials. The use of cells from electively aborted fetuses for vaccine production makes these 5 COVID-19 vaccine programs unethical because they exploit the innocent human beings who were aborted. Prentice and a co-author molecular biologist, James Shirley, a Lozier Institute associate scholar and director of the adult stem cell company Symmetrix, wrote in a position paper published last month. While some may see no ethical problem, for many a straight line can be drawn from the ending of a human life in an abortion to a vaccine or drug created using cells derived from the harvesting of the fetal tissue. Even if the cells have been propagated for years in a laboratory far removed from the abortion, that connection line still remains. A rapidly growing number of COVID-19 vaccine programs, 17 so far, underscore the many alternative strategies available and useful for COVID-19 vaccine development that pose no controversy. In total, the U.S. government has invested over $500,000 to support 3 of these vaccine programs. Just recently, there was an agreement made by the United States, the State of Israel, and the United Arab Emirates. Part of this joint statement included the following. The United Arab Emirates and Israel will immediately expand and accelerate cooperation regarding the treatment of and the development of a vaccine for coronavirus. Working together, these efforts will help save Muslim, Jewish, and Christian lives throughout the region. I and a number of other Christians are starting to wonder, why is this part of this agreement? Is there another plan? I can only think negative when I read something like this. I don't know what your thoughts are. I'd like to tell you the story of Christopher Babcock. One of his friends stated he enjoyed life and he had fun. He loved being around people, but was just as comfortable being by himself. He never treated anyone differently. Everyone was his friend. He taught me that the sky's the limit. Rules are meant to be broken and to be open-minded. Sarcastic, and he could insult you without you even knowing you had been insulted, but it was all in fun. Christopher's mom's Nancy stated the following. This is what Christopher's friends said when I asked them to describe him. I saw him as a little boy, the one who loved to build, draw, read, playing and listening to music, skiing, golfing, and with a huge thirst for knowledge. He could debate any subject, politics, religion, classic rock, environmental issues, or architecture. He loved it all. He studied environmental law at Westminster College for 1 year, but decided he didn't want to be a lawyer. He said there were too many rules. He wanted to use his creativity and pursue a degree in his first love, architecture. So he transferred to Utah State University in August 2009. On October 15, 2009, he flew to Oregon with his dad to look at schools. He wanted to start with a civil engineering degree and then pursue a degree in architecture with an emphasis in sustainable architecture. They returned home on October 18th. Christopher had always been healthy. If he got a bug, it was usually gone within a day or two. He was very active in sports. His doctor visits were mainly well checkups, and no issues had ever come up. He had his childhood vaccines. They were delayed, but he did receive them. But he never had a flu vaccine. We had discussed the regular flu vaccine and the 2009 H1N1 vaccine. He wanted my opinion. I told him not to worry about the regular flu vaccine since he had never had a problem with cold or flu bugs. We were both unsure about the H1N1 vaccine. He was right in the age group that was most susceptible, college student, campus living, and around a lot of people. I left it up to him. On October 19th, he called to say he had decided to get the vaccine and went to a local health department. He received the H1N1 Flumus vaccine. On November 4th, he sent a message to his girlfriend that he felt like crap, but the next day he sent another message that he felt a lot better and just had a little sore throat. He commented one time to me that he felt tired, but he thought it was from staying up late and studying, or playing games, or his guitar. On November 19th, Christopher spent the evening with his friends. He talked with his dad about 10 p.m. about their plans to ski over Thanksgiving weekend. He talked to his girlfriend on Skype until about 3 a.m. One friend tried to convince him to stay up and watch a movie, but he said he was tired and was going to bed. November 20th, Christopher was supposed to pick up his girlfriend at the front runner station. And when he didn't show up and she couldn't reach him, she called one of his friends who called me. I called his roommate who found him. He had passed away in his sleep. That was the day my world stopped. We spoke with the medical examiner about his medical history several times over the next 2 months, looking for a cause. The only thing that was out of the ordinary was the vaccine. She called us on February 10th to say that she thought the cause of death would be unknown, but they were going to do one more test on his heart. I remember the date. Christopher's birthday is February 11th. We finally received the autopsy results in mid-February 2010. Cause of death, viral myocarditis. The medical examiner said it was the flu he had in October. I reminded her he had not had the flu. It was the vaccine he had in October. I asked her to check for something in the vaccine. She said it had been too long and they would be unable to isolate it down that far. The thing that sticks in my mind is when I was told by someone from the United States Health Resources and Services Administration that the vaccine cannot cause the flu, but may cause flu-like symptoms, while the immune system is reacting to the vaccine. Flu-like symptoms are a common symptom of myocarditis. I hear about so many young healthy people passing away from unknown causes, and I wonder how many of these unknowns are actually myocarditis. I also hear about young healthy people collapsing from an undetected heart condition. Is this an undetected condition of myocarditis? So many questions and not enough answers. How many of these reactions are caused by an adverse reaction to the vaccine? So much information is withheld from a parent. They never make the connection. In Christopher's case, I believe it was the vaccine that triggered the myocarditis, but I also believe there are many medical issues that can be triggered by an adverse reaction to a vaccine. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. He was my little boy. I would like to know your reactions to vaccines, what's happening over in Israel and the United Arab Emirates. Would you take the vaccine? God bless.